One. Hello. Hello. It's good to have you back with us as we discuss accelerating a journey through digital transformation. I would particularly like to thank Tata Tele Business Services for organizing this fun play. Before we dive into the topic today, I would love to welcome my guest today, Mr. Tanjeet Singh, DGM SME Cluster Sales, Tata Tele Business Services, Vishal Aluwalia, MD, Nirmal Foods, Ms. Payal Rastogi, founder and CEO, Carbon Fixers, Anubhav Kumar, owner, Kumar and Kumar, Sachin Goyal, CEO, Westinghouse Appliances, Kanav Agnihotri, founder and CEO, Kentel Stories and Toys, and Parrots Innovation. Ashok Thakkar, principal CEO, Thakkar Technologies Private Limited. Gentlemen, ladies, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Good morning.
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 Good morning.
Before we dive into the topic today, and these are very interesting times, right? I think COVID has kind of changed the way we've looked at business and looked at the business landscape and how we've evaluated, our priorities when it came to business. Digital transformation, which was, something that businesses used to think about, COVID has pushed us to accept it. Digital transformation is the way forward. Digital transformation, although associated with technology, change predominantly. Digital transformation in business is a holistic approach to change the way organizations think, organize, operate, and behave. Digital transformation does accelerate the following aspects in a business's journey towards transformation: customer behavior, technology changes, business models, and societal changes. In the face of the unknown, technology is changing at an exceptional rate. It is imperative that we take practical changes encountered seriously and align the same with innovation, trends, and user perspective. Digital transformation asks businesses to reimagine and rapidly realize new ways of working and satisfying customer expectations. The meaning of digital transformation varies for each organization and comes with different tools to address unique challenges in business. With that, it's a pleasure to have you with us, the guest that I have today. Before we dive into our discussion today, it will be lovely to have all of you introduce yourself, and tell us a little more about your businesses. I'll start with Mr. Aluwalia. Mr. Aluwalia, why don't you tell us, what you've been doing at Nirmal Foods? How has the journey been? Mr. Aluwalia? Your mic is on mute, sir. Your mic is still on mute, sir. We will just come back to you in a bit. We'll hop on to Payal. Payal, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Okay, good morning. And Carbon Fixer is my startup. I've been doing this for the last few years. Although my background is from technology, I started my career with selling websites 20 years ago, wow. 25 years ago. So that was an early starter in internet industry, and we used to train people on what is internet and how to use internet and how to build websites. Can you believe it? And look at us now. Every single person is on internet. So that's the transformation we have already seen. Okay, and most of my experience is with large technology companies. I worked in Chennai, Bangalore, and the US. And so we've seen the technology transformation from very basic minimum mainframes to what we are right now with every single individual on the internet. Okay, and so of course Carbon Fixer happened while working with those companies. And again, in environment industry, sustainability, it's also all about technology, because it brings a lot of efficiency, it saves time, it brings more. It's like a waste management or whatever you do in software industry or technology, we try to do in sustainability or climate change, and of course make people, planet, and profit. That's the idea.
Thank you, Payal. So I think there are lots of very interesting points that we'll cover through the course of the conversation. I'll have Mr. Aluwalia, introduce himself. He's in a very interesting area, which is that of food. And Mr. Aluwalia, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little more about your business? So there seems to be a problem with your voice. Let me come back to you. I'll go to Mr. Anubhav Kumar. Anubhav, hi, it's good to have you with us.
Good morning, everyone.
My name is Anubhav Kumar, and I'm representing the firm Kumar and Kumar. We're basically based in Faridabad. We are a pharmaceutical organization company which is basically dealing into the distribution of pharmaceuticals, dealing with a variety of medicines into the field of cardiology, diabetology, nephrology, critical care, and other segments. And having a very wide base of customers dealing with the chemists, multinational hospitals, and pharmacies also.
Fantastic. Anubhav, I'm looking forward to a very, very exciting discussion today. I think there is a lot that is going to go through pharma right when it comes to digital transformation. So I think it'll be interesting to discuss that with you. I'd
Thank
go
you.
to Sachin. Hi, Sachin. How are you?
Yeah,
Good to
yeah.
have you
Hi,
with us.
hi. Good morning, everyone. So basically, we are into appliances, and our core domain is into consumer products, basically. So we make, typical home and kitchen appliances, and that's
Right.
what is and Westinghouse brand is anyway known to all over world. And prior to this company, I have worked with LG Electronics and HCL and Dell and
Wonderful.
these kind of companies. So my major core competence and domain has been into consumer products development, sales, marketing, channel, etc. And of course, it has been interesting time, as Ashu said very correctly. So there has been a paradigm shift in each and every industry that definitely we are going to discuss today. So I
Sachin,
think that introduction is good enough for today.
Sachin, it's a pleasure to have you with us. I think there's a lot
Yes,
of work
thank
which
you.
is happening in the D2C area, and I think the entire process of sales is going to go through a change, right?
Absolutely.
And we'll cover that through the course of our conversation today. Kanav, there is some interesting stuff that I'm expecting, right? As soon as I read, stories and toys and innovation,
Sure.
right? I think it's a very, very interesting combination. Tell us a
Sure.
little more.
So yeah, thank you so much, first of all, for this opportunity, and I'm thankful that I'm getting a chance to interact with this gathering, and thank you so much. So much experience here. So well, yes, can tell stories with toys happened, if I may say, thanks to COVID, because I'm a co-founder at Parrot Innovations. So I'll first talk about Parrot Innovations. Parrot Innovations, I'm a co-founder there, and we are selling. We were selling auto attendance in schools. So we had built in made in India readers, and whenever the child used to enter a school and a bus, the attendance and the bus tracking used to happen, and everything was automated. It was not
Right.
that you have to go near a device. It was you enter from any part of school, the attendance was captured. We started on 16 July 2019. We were doing very well.
Right.
And when actually we were supposed to start earning, I guess COVID did not like our success, and everything stopped
Right.
on April 1st April. So it was like a April Fool gift for me. Everything on the drain, and it became zero, and it is still zero since then, because schools are not opening. Unfortunately, the model has got disrupted now. So I don't know when schools open. Whenever
Right.
they do, how will they now accept attendance as a priority rather than now an optional way? So I really need to understand how things will move. But
Right.
my fingers are crossed. I'm hoping in a year maybe things improve, and the model comes back. It's going to take time, to be very
Right.
honest with you. So that was Parrot Innovations, but I know it'll bounce back and it'll fly again very well. So Cantel stories with toys happened because I was sitting at home and there was nothing to do. So I formed this setup where over the years I've been doing a lot of voiceovers and a lot of bit of acting and all for a few years.
Right.
Never took it seriously, so I started something. I will share the story later on. I don't want to take much time on this. So I started something. I built a product, and in 5-6 months, I suddenly saw that I got a million views on my platform, and around 7,600 subscribers organically came. Then I got the confidence of promoting it more.
Right.
So it's a storytelling where I have a character and a product, where I tell stories related to our current scenario for children. So I do the acting, directing. I'm the ghost. I'm the host. I'm everything in that platform, and I hold the camera by myself, and I'll share the link with all of you. And I'm very proud that I pulled out something which never existed. So even the editing, I never learned editing. So we are talking about digital transformation.
Right.
So I learned editing online, and I started editing because there was no one to outsource the work.
Right.
So the entire platform has been built, and I'm very proud that I was, whatever in my amateurish ability, to bring it to this level today that I'm actually talking to people for taking it to a next level now.
Kind of, that's very interesting, and I think learning has gone through a complete change, right? And I understand where you're coming from. I mean, what you're doing with empowering, attendance in transportation and all that. I mean, this is something that I worked on closely with a bunch of startups, who were trying to crack the area. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand what you're doing now is so much more powerful. And I think we'd love to discuss this, right?
Sure.
I'd go to Mr. Ashok. Mr. Ashok, if you could give us a quick round of introduction about yourself.
Good morning, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for inviting me to this platform and sharing my views and taking inputs from others. I am a system integrator for deploying technology in various segments of the industry, be it commercial, healthcare, transportation, government, residences. So I do a lot of low voltage technology deployment. For example, like fire alarm systems and public address systems, telephony, the data, the Wi-Fi, the audio, video, those kind of systems, which are a must for any organization or any home or any institute to operate. So
very
technology
interesting.
Sorry?
Very interesting. I think this entire thing is going through a change, right? I think we're talking about connected devices, we're talking about IoT.
And this is the most important infrastructure required by each and everybody right now.
Correct.
Individual or commercials, whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to go to Mr. Ahluwalia. Mr. Ahluwalia, are you with us? Sir, I'm so sorry, I can't hear you. I think my request is I will come back to you, but you need to disconnect your mic, and I think you can come out of the computer speaker. There's possibly some problem there. Sanjeev, I'm going to come to you, right? I think having you in this entire scheme of things is very, very critical because, the way you are experiencing, the case studies, right, across industries is going to be very important as we discuss the topic today, right, of transformation. But before that, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning, Ashu, and good morning, all fellow panelists. Hope you are safe and best of health. So, I've been associated with Tata Tele Business Service for last 10 years. So last 2 years has been really a roller coaster ride for all of us, and probably I would say that since we come into the part of the essential services, we have been able to cater most of the services required by any of the customer, or you talk about any of your services. If you need to be built up any kind of a business, you need a right set of connectivity.
Right.
So fortunately, we've been able to deliver that. So probably during the course of this further interaction, we will be able to share our best practice or how we have transferred ourselves in this journey.
Right. Look forward. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have all of you. I mean, honestly speaking, I'm so excited about this discussion that we're going to have today. The diversity in the audience that we have and the diversity that we have in all the speakers, I think is just so much more phenomenal, right? With that, my first question for the panel today is that how has been digital transformation? I mean, we were operating in an ecosystem which was essentially designed for so many years. We were optimized as businesses, to deliver in a certain common way, and then happens 2020, right? And it just sort of pushes us to change the way we look at things, right? It just changes everything around us, be it a consumer, be it our personal priorities, all of that, right? In terms of how the process has been designed, everything, right? This is a question that I have for Payal to start with, right? Payal, how has been this journey for you, right? Given that you are into sustainability, given that you're working in bringing a lot of efficiency that exists, right? Was this a natural play that came to you? Is this something that you were thinking about, or is this something that has made you change the way you look at things?
You mean the pre-COVID, post-COVID, or you generally talking the technology?
Pre-COVID, post-COVID, how has been your digital transformation? I mean, how have you looked at it? What has happened in this period, right? So what was happening, for example, say 2019, and how did you start looking at it from a client's perspective post 2020?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a big change. I mean, last 2 years we can't travel. We stopped traveling for audits. So a lot of work is happening offline on Zoom, on Skype, and other platforms and other project management platforms that we can use. So 100% we are digital right now. And of course, I haven't traveled, or Even we don't need an office anymore. Even
Right.
if somebody has to go to a particular place, then they can go from their own place. We don't have to be together at the office, and all of us, and we are able to manage. I think I'm 100% off the office of in digital platform right now. And in fact, we are able to consult certain companies abroad in other countries, and even it's pretty seamless using
Right.
all the different kind of applications that are available.
Right.
So I think it has changed a lot. I mean, nobody is even asking you that you have to travel and come and go to the factory or go to the office and audit.
Right.
So we're trying to do using video calls and other things as now. So there is a change.
Very interesting. Well, tell me this, right? You've been in this ecosystem where you are auditing clients, evaluating clients, right? How have your clients reacted to this, right? Because in a manufacturing setup, I mean, sustainability and best practices around environment, and there's a different kind of responsibility that's being talked about, right? How has that changed, right? Well, I understand, a lot for you has become easy in the sense that you don't have to go there physically, you don't have to travel, you don't have to vet, you don't have to do a lot of those things, right? But how's this
Right.
changed for your customers?
It is change for them also because the climate and sustainability has suddenly become a buzzword because people have
Right.
understood in the last 2 years that they need to be responsible. So that
Sure.
is one little change. I won't say it's 100%, but we are in the right direction. In a few years down the line, and of course they're also understanding that if the large companies understand that when people travel, vendors travel, or so there's a lot of carbon, there's a lot of other expenses that happen.
Right.
Okay, so they also understand if everybody is working from home and if we are able to manage maximum work from home, all of us are saving money.
Right.
And all of us are saving a lot of the fuel, the carbon, many other things.
Right.
I think
So essentially what you're highlighting is that there is a renewed realization, one towards responsible living, and ensuring that there is a better organizations are better aligned to the cause of sustainability, environment related issues, and simultaneously how it sort of affects the bottom line of the company. Is that a correct assessment?
Sorry, I missed your question. I think
Well, I was just summarizing what you'd said, right? And I'll just come back to you in a bit, right? But before I move on to the next question, Sachin, I'll come to you, right?
Yeah.
One thing that has happened is that the entire consumer moved direct to, I mean, in a D2C format, right? Every purchase was, I mean, given that retail was shut, right?
Yes.
Everything was happening in a digital environment, right? You were essentially going online and you're purchasing, right? I mean, so a lot of brands, for example, had little choice but to transform, right? What has been your experience in the last 1.5 years?
No. Ashu, actually, it has been complete paradigm shift and disruption in the entire industry. Because if you see the consumer products, whatever growth the online industry has already taken, and of course, it is going to take much more growth in the future.
Mhm.
But still, in India, as a typical market, it is still, I will say, 70 to 80% offline, which is still, like typically like a brick and mortar. And due to not only the COVID, but just before the COVID also, the systems of were already starting in terms of because the consumer convenience was more towards the digital platforms or online platform.
Right.
So when we say digital platform, doesn't mean only online shopping.
Right.
It is also about the transaction, which is digital.
Interesting.
So many things are becoming digital now. Even the customer care is also becoming digital.
Right.
The service, yesterday, the engineer wanted to come to your place, or you were allowing. Today you are not allowing, and even this trend has started much few years back only.
Right.
That more of the telephonic support is available, or the digital support is available. You can make a video call.
Right.
Engineer, technician will help.
Chat support's available.
Yeah. So many things are already starting.
Right.
And suddenly the COVID era has actually given accelerator to all this whole
Right.
thing. That whatever were happening, but COVID has actually pressed the accelerator button
Right.
on the whole thing.
Right.
So today, if you see in our consumer business also, even the small shopkeepers are opting for a digital platform like WhatsApp has got a business version.
Right.
So even the small dealers, shopkeepers are also switching to business WhatsApp, making their own catalogs.
Right.
So it is not only about the large e-commerce companies,
Sure.
But even a small dealer, distributors, or even the grocery merchant is making digital platforms of their own so that they can reach out to their customer, and there is a minimum transactional time. And so this thing has already started, and same thing is with our company also. As a company, we of course we were very heavily dependent on the offline presence of the products
Right.
or the digital. So now the entire shift has happened. We are also educating our dealers, distributors who are not really aligned, as well as of course switching more towards the online platforms and the digital platforms. So this shift has already started. And in coming times, we see that since now the consumers are also getting more and more comfortable with these kind of platforms, where the product selections, purchasing, payments, delivery, service, everything is now becoming more and more non-interpersonal. It's
Right.
more becoming digital. So the trend is going to definitely set through. Even if today, tomorrow, if the COVID era ends, this trend is going to set in our lives now.
Very interesting, Sachin. I think that's a very good. You kind of very beautifully dissected the entire piece. In terms of how the front end is sort of behaving now. I mean, transformation has become important on the front end. And the delivery aspects of it, which are so much more important, right? Because I think post sales is a very critical aspect. In ensuring that there's a customer is a priority. You're managing the customer very well. There's a certain feedback process, and there's a continuous or continued service that continues to happen, right? So I think that's a very important point that you highlighted, right? Before I move on to the next question, I would want to bring in Tanjeet on this particular point, right? I mean, Tanjeet, you've been enabling a lot of this transition, right? As Tata Tele Business Services, right? You've empowered a lot of organizations to very quickly switch from, say, existing offline practices into online practices, right? Why don't you take us through some of the case studies that you've sort of seen, implemented, helped transition? Why don't you talk a little about that?
Right, Ashu. So we really need to understand, first part is the government laws. So probably
Right.
when this pandemic broke out, I think so we never realized that we have a different laws and different. We live in Delhi NCR, but somehow you feel that there is a lockdown in Haryana, or maybe there is a lockdown not there in Delhi.
Right.
You find a lockdown in Mumbai, or you don't find a lockdown in Bihar, right? So managing resources was a critical piece for us, because at the end of the day, we need to ensure that our end customer is connected properly, and our core network is running. Because at the end of the day, all the organizations were moving towards the model of the work from home, and the connectivity was a really a critical piece for us. So that's the first part, as an organization which we did. That was the gap which we really identified that. So managing our resources was the first piece for us.
Right.
Second was the piece of the part that, since we cater most of the SMB organizations, so SMB organization is pretty much a the price centric, and they are looking forward to solutions which are more in a space of a plug and play. That was the particular area where we have diversified our product line, be it in the range of cloud services, be it in the range of cybersecurity, be it in the range of any of the voice services, because we have seen a trend where a lot of contact centers are moving from work from home. So when you are moving to a work from home concept, so what do you need? That how you ensure that our services are up and running. So that was the area where we identified the opportunity as well, and where we started the services on towards the cloud services. Having said that, when you're working or work from home, then there is a lot of security threats are also being there.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you don't have much of a control on it. So how you ensure that you are working towards a secure network as well. So that's how we come into the picture, and we diversified our product line in the space of smart VPN, or maybe towards the part of the cybersecurity.
Right.
So that was something that really gave us a the area to cover up as well. Because we never thought that I've been working in this organization for the last 10 years, but in the past 2 years we have launched more than 15 products, maybe in the range of new versions or as a new variety.
Right.
That can really cater the end customer, and can help them in their continuity of their business, as well as their digital transformation as well. Apart from that, as an organization as well, we've really moved towards the thought of a simpler and faster way. We really adopt, since we comes into the compliance of DOT as well, right? So there is a lot of physical papers which are also being required. So we move towards a digital cap where customer can sign it and services can start immediately rather
Right.
than having any kind of a physical interaction to it.
Right.
So this is the area where we are working towards it, and I think so this really given us a understanding of the market as well, what the SMB demands from us, and we have been successfully been able to cater it so far. And yes, there are a lot of certain new things which we have seen as well, because at the end of the day when you move to the market, the customer demands is I have the X requirement, can you cater that? Or
Sure.
can you help me out with that, because I'm this is a digital transformation. So whatever the panelists which has been there today with us, so all of them are into diversified business. You talk about pharmaceutical, you talk about any of the system integrators, or the persons who started the auto attendants, and any kind of a business. The connectivity is a core the thing which has been required.
Correct.
So we have ensured that whatever the services which has been there, less physical infra, more towards the plug and play. The option is given to the end customer.
Interesting. Sanjeev, thank you so much. I think that really covers it all. And I think I'm just sort of amazed by the fact that in terms of being able to react and deliver so quickly, right? I think how beautifully all of this has come together, right? And I think it is only possible when you have an agile team in place. And I think what you tell me, that gives me a sense that this is a team at Tata Elxsi which is very customer focused, which is very on the ground, which is understanding the changes required. And I think you've delivered within a very short span of time. I'm going to come to you, Tanjeet, on a bunch of other questions towards the next phases of the conversation, right? But I want to understand it from Mr. Ahluwalia. What are some of the initiatives that you took, in this journey towards digital transformation? Before that, sir, why don't you introduce yourself? We missed having you talk about it, but we start with your introduction and then we move into what are some of the steps that you've taken. Food is a very, very critical business, right? So please go ahead.
Sorry for the disruption. We are into Asia since last 70 years.
So I'll have to.
And we are dealing with
Mr. Ahluwalia, I think there's a trouble with the mic. So there's a trouble with the mic. I will just come back to you. I'll have Mr. Thakkar to answer this question. Mr. Thakkar, what are some of the steps that you've taken towards digital transformation as 2020 hit us?
Well, you see, my nature of business is that we have to, because I deploy technology, so most of the work is at this customer premises at the site.
Right.
There's hardly anything we can do on that subject because the deployment has to be at the site. So at the site, we do take care of all social distancing and everything. But our back office, completely kind of gone into digital formation for procurement, purchasing the order, for negotiations. We use the complete technology for doing that work.
Wonderful. So what are some of the strategies that you've implemented during this time?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
I'm saying what are some of the strategies, practices that you've implemented during this time?
Well, like I said, my nature of business is security, deployment,
right,
the fire alarm systems within the premises, the audio videos for people making the video conferencing and audio conferencing. So we have deployed those kind of systems.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And how has the consumer interaction changed, right? Consumer interaction used to happen in a very different way, right? How has that changed for you? Is this like an online sales piece that you've built now, or how is that happening? So, I mean,
unfortunately, I am not into a consumer sales where online sales can happen. Sure. Our nature of business is that we have to sit in front of the customer and understand the look and feel of the customer, the emotion, the sentiments, and everything.
Right.
Then we can close our deals. So most of our deals at the last stages have to be physical, but initial stages, exchanging of quotations and exchanging of demos and trainings and making the product understandable, that can be done over the video conferencing calls and Zoom call meetings.
Interesting. Mr. Thakkar, one thing that has also changed in this entire process, right, is the fact that everybody is asking for a very, very superior set of solutions, right? So, for example, if earlier cameras were to be implemented, now these are not cameras anymore. I mean, there is a layer of AI and ML which is now being implemented over the video content that is getting gathered in the process, right? Cool. Are you also, is this something that your clients are expecting? Is this, does this require you to upgrade your offering and empower yourself with a better set of, say, an ecosystem or a foundation of connectivity, technology, all of that?
Yes, 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 definitely. Because now the connectivity is more essentially required and more robust required,
Correct.
because everything is not physical; it's
Right.
all virtual. So there are a lot of branch offices, a lot of other sites are connected. So
Right.
connectivity is very, very essential. Like in this call, also we are seeing that there are hicks
Right.
in the connections and internet going on and off. So I mean, because we are living in a consumer world, so we can manage that. But in a professional world, connectivity is very, very important. And that's where I think Tata's teleservices or Allied Airtel or these kind of organizations do play an important role in
Sure.
providing a robust. Incidentally, I have been a Tata teleservice partner few years ago. So I have the taste of these kind of products also.
Right. Right. I think that's an endorsement for Tanjeet. I think, Tanjeet, that should make you happy, right? For all the good work that you've been doing. But I'm going to come to Anubhav. Anubhav, what is, I mean, pharma has gone through a sea change, right? I think everybody was rushing to, the pharmacists, and, the pharmacists were communicating with their wholesalers or distributors, who were in turn sort of communicating with the manufacturers. There was a huge supply chain which was there, right? And this supply chain largely existed in offline setting, right? It was largely over phone driven or whatever, right? And there were systems that weren't, I mean, there were systems, but the adoption of systems was always, it took the kind of time that it did, right? What did it do in 2020? I mean, how has transformation happened for you from being, say, an offline player or active offline player into, say, moving in an online ecosystem?
Basically, it was a very, very drastic shift from working on all of us in such conditions where everywhere we were finding all people with moving around with infections. Whereas most of the country was under lockdown and people were enjoying the home conditions, but the conditions were not same for us. We had to be on the feet, we had to be on the toes, whereas so we were getting the orders that were in quite bulk. And there was a very high degree of exposure of our staff, our personnel, and everybody
Right.
with the infected persons also. So things are not quite easy because our organization or our kind of business is something that cannot be going offline at all. Sorry, online at all. It has to be an offline business where we have to cut out to the deliveries and reach out to the customers. Post-pandemic, things had changed out quite a lot, whereas we have been shifting out to moving out from going to paperless basically. That's something we're trying to adopt it out that more and more of the job that we do is paperless, maybe through digital means or sending out mails, shooting out and everything, collecting out the orders on phone, or maybe we're starting up our own application where the customer can put up the orders so that we have a very, very little interface, physical interface.
Right.
To protect us and other staff also.
Right.
And digitalization of business and organization has basically induced new business models for all of us, where I've been using smartphones, web applications, cloud services also, which never thought of using it even.
Interesting.
Today's business was basically faced with a constant disruption from economic shifts to the emerging new technologies. And as far as ours is concerned, we are small organizations which have to operate with limited solutions and have to be quite competitive within the framework also. And enterprise digitization, which I might say looks at like the entire digital technological transformation basically from a totally offline and moving on to an online kind of a business. Many businesses like us have recognized the importance of evolving the capabilities, but sometimes their efforts have stalled down. Maybe the organization fatigue has changed due to risk, cost, and sustained collective efforts, basically.
Interesting.
And the pandemic has actually accelerated the interest in the digital technology by extension and resilience. And if we had invested basically into resources into the digital mode prior to the pandemic, we would have been much more comfortable into it.
Anubhav, I think one particular point that you've highlighted in the process is the human risk, right? Was the risk of transmission, right? And I think you being in the trade, I think while of course every business was sensitive to that risk. I mean, here you were in a business which had the maximum possibility of getting inflicted, right? How have are there certain measures that you've taken on that particular front in terms of ensuring that there is a certain lesser contact, lesser touch, So, for example, the payment cycles have changed. Inventorization, for example, has happened. Transportation, for example, how seamless has that become? What are some of those bits and pieces, if you could highlight? What are some of those changes that you, for example, implemented during this time?
Basically, as you are very correct to say, basically we have shifted from most of the payments to digitalized mode. Basically,
Sure.
prior to the pandemic, more than 80% of our customers, maybe 90% of the payments was in physical mode.
Right.
Whereas delivery boys were going to the pharmacies, hospitals, and collecting all the payments. But during the last 15 to 20 months, I would say, after April 20, we have been encouraging our customers to kindly move on to the digital modes of payment also. Try to place the orders on a digital platform so that we can serve you better.
Right.
It's basically something kind of a mutual take care kind of a situation where we are taking care of your health. Even at that moment, we expect and request you to please take care of our person's health also.
Correct.
Because it was something kind of an invisible enemy,
Absolutely.
which you just imagine and see who is infected and who is not.
Right.
And at the same time, you had to be quite aggressive, competitive, calm, and composed also. You had to take care of the mental health and the trauma of the person also who's going to the market and who's getting exposed also.
Right.
So off and on, it was a kind of a very, very mentally traumatic situation where you were sometimes depressed also. The morale of the field force was also going down. But as a manager, you had to take care of the things and put the things into the right place by boosting up the motivation, putting up some kind of incentive policies, bringing up some kind of medical measures to counter all the situation that was going around.
Right. Interesting. Anubhav, I'm going to come to you. I think there are some very interesting points that you've highlighted. I'm going to come to you and possibly my next question. I want to move to Kanav, right? I think Kanav, you highlighted how you've kind of transitioned from, say, being a tech player, who was enabling the transportation mechanisms. You're plugging those gaps, creating a reporting structure, from moving into, say, a learning solution that you built, right? Which wasn't, say, as calibrated, but now I think you're getting into a process where you want to calibrate it. You want to ensure that there's a certain learning that is happening. There's an output evaluation that you want to do. So there are a bunch of things that I see you doing. I think one thing that you highlighted, which kind of stayed with me, is that workforce becomes important, right? This entire thing, right? On a lot of occasions, what happens with businesses is that their workforces weren't prepared for this transition, right? And I think this is true for everybody on the panel today, right? Your workforces or our workforces around us weren't really sort of ready for this kind of a transition, right?
Right.
What are your thoughts about it? I mean, how difficult do you think is it been a challenge for you to build it single-handedly? Was it a conscious choice that you said that this is how I have to do it? Because there was no availability of trained setup around you, or you
Right.
said that this is something which is going to just take too much time, right? And the better choice is to sort of pick it up, build it quickly, and then figure, right, how do you want to sort of take it forward, right? So how important is adoption of how important is, say, the role of workforce in transformation?
Sure. So I'll tell you, if I had thought of this Can Tell Stories with Toys idea before the pandemic, and I would have gone the structured way, ideating a product, which is in this case a superhero character, till the building of the toy, till launching a movie, and taking it to acceptance level outside.
Right.
It's a process. It's a 1 year process.
Right.
But because of this digital transformation, I got an idea, and I built the idea, I sketched the idea, I purchased the accessories online. I need this sound, I need this recorder, I need this camera. I contacted a vendor who was building toys. So the process is getting shortened, So I told them, okay, make this toy for me. He's based out of Noida. He built the toy. He couriered it to me. We haven't met till now. I got the first prototype.
Wow.
And then I said, okay. So there's a nice story there. When I got the first prototype, there was slight manufacturing, I will not say defect, but the size of the toy was slightly smaller.
Right.
Then I innovated and I made it into a superhero because it's a puppet. When you see my channel, you'll understand how it goes. But what I'm trying to say is that something which would have taken a year of a concept building and brainstorming, because of this scenario also where I was in a fix, and I could digitally connect with anyone because of this transformation, I was able to reduce the gap from 1 year I'll say around 10th March, I thought about it. 7th May, the first trailer went live
Right.
on the YouTube channel, and I got around 90,000 views of that platform, the acceptance.
Right.
So the journey has become very fast. And like we all are discussing, there has been a forced acceptance of digital now. Earlier, what it was that people were not trusting digital. Like I'll further give an example of a person who's selling vegetables on the
Right.
radio. Now, this person was never used to digital, acceptance of. Now he has been forced.
Right.
Okay, people will pay you like this. So that acceptance also of digital because of this pandemic has been forced on people, and now they're trusting it.
Right.
But the journey and the cycle of all our businesses now, because this digital interaction has shortened, and you can vision something, ideation to execution journey has become very fast. So because of which I was able to think, multitask, and execute and see the acceptance very quickly.
Very interesting.
Which would have taken at least a year's time,
But Kanav, I'm the role of workforce, right? The low role of people around you, right?
Yes.
How important is that in the process, right? I mean, you chose to fly independently. Of course, we were in lockdown.
Correct.
This was a new project that had come up. You of course had little pet people, right? But how difficult is it to sort of ensure that there are people who adopt to it in your workforce? How important is how to blend technology or this digital transformation with the team, right? And especially when you have layers and all of that, right? I mean, you have experience. Of course, you've been building Cantel, right? But you have experience beyond that as well, right? Help me understand that as a perspective, right? So from here on, what is going to be the journey like, right? So as the markets open up, as we go back to normal, how is that journey going to be? I mean, how do you ensure that people who are there with you are equally responsive in terms of accepting technology?
Yeah, so I'll say what Payal said. Now there's going to be this hybrid model of, even when we're all hoping that this pandemic ends very soon, because it's more than enough. We started 2019 and we're still talking in 2021. So what Payal rightly said was that this is going to be a hybrid model of working now. Because people have realized that yes, this pandemic caused a problem, and like Anubhav said, that his challenge was that they were forcefully exposed to the field, and they were getting infected, and something which he could have not avoided, unfortunately, because how this business works. What I foresee is that there's going to be a hybrid way of working. It's going to continue like this. Obviously, when things open up, people will, like for my case with Parrot Innovations, I will have to go to the schools and have meetings. I'll just share an example. When in February the cases were down, I had gone to a couple of schools. So I had a meeting with the principal once on this platform, and then I had gone to meet her in the school, and we were all sitting way apart. So there was one chair kept on one side, and I was sitting on the other side, and we were talking with a mic. But present. So I'm seeing this kind of innovative people have started thinking aloud that how to get work done. Because for me also, when the schools open, I will have to go to the schools and sell my product. I can just give a demo here that, okay, this is the ID card, this is how it will go. But end of the day, the school has to experience the demo.
Correct.
Which is where the students and the teachers' attendance will get marked. So I will not be able to escape it. But I experienced one where I presented online, and then we were sitting in the lawn where we were way apart, but we were talking physically. And I was doing the demo like an air hostess, shows you that this is how the seat belt is. I was sitting far and actually I was presenting the entire thing to her. But this model will change, and I'm happy this will remain like this, because it has also taught corporates a lesson that we were unnecessarily also spending.
Correct.
So every money saved is profit. Like I tell, when for a startup, if you're not earning, at least you save.
Correct.
I feel this protection of workflow first will be taken more seriously. People also working have realized that unnecessary going out is not required. When you have work, then you go. When there's a forced meeting, you have to do. People will take precautions, and I'm sure companies will also understand this. Is more.
Kanav, I like how you sort of, of course, you shared about your journey, but I like the fact that the way you highlighted, right, that inefficiencies are going to get weeded out, right, and technology is going to come in and fill that in, right, and make you efficient and help you save a lot of cost, which was basically being spent and feeding these inefficiencies, right? And I like that point, right? I will come back to you, Kanav, on this. I would want to go to Mr. Thakkar. Mr. Thakkar, this is a question that I have for you, right? I mean, in an ecosystem that you work, which is very heavy deployment, right, of say cameras and fire alarm systems and so on and so forth, right? You work with a workforce which is not necessarily very technology savvy, very technology understanding. I mean, for them, it's a mobile phone, and that's how they sort of deal with things, right? Has given 2020 happened the way it happened, right? How are you doing the monitoring? I mean, how did that change, right? Were these people smart enough to adopt to this change very quickly? How did that shape up for you?
You see, today WhatsApp has taught to everybody, whether he's illiterate or illiterate, WhatsApp has been an easy tool.
Right.
So WhatsApp has really helped us out to communicate with this kind of team members at the site,
Right.
so that they can send us videos, they can send us live, they can show us the live site conditions.
Right.
So that helps us also, and that helps them also.
Right.
And a lot of work can also be done. If we have to teach them something through WhatsApp video, we can show them quickly a demo of the product or the installation or
Right.
the quality aspects. So it helps a lot. So the technology, especially the mobile phone, has really helped our team lot to deploy all these things at the site.
Right.
So that way, I think we had a COVID on one side, but we had the technology on the other side.
Right.
So everything worked. There was a balance.
But I mean, I understand when you highlight and when you say that there is WhatsApp that, for example, came in handy, and and people were using WhatsApp, and it almost become a new normal, right, of communication. I mean, do you think is that the way forward? I mean, especially when you're doing some very, very critical deployment, right? Can that be the way forward? I mean, can it be a consistent format, or do you need to think of better tools of engagement, right? Which cover the process end to end for you, right? It could lead into communication. It could be the learning systems that are there. It could be quick go-to pieces. It could be checking on the progress. So is this ecosystem going to evolve into a comprehensive ecosystem of or a product ecosystem? Do you think? I mean,
Definitely. Yeah. You see,
is there a need for us to move beyond WhatsApp into more comprehensive system?
correct. You see, we all understand necessity is the mother of invention. So because now the necessity is there, so a lot of tools are being developed now, which are very easy to use, one-touch tools, and small gadgets are coming.
Right.
So, and then obviously we are getting into robotic kind of platforms also.
Interesting.
The automation is happening that way also. So
Right.
I mean, lot of these things we'll see in the within 21.
Sure.
Many things simpler and easier to implement to come, and which will help us handy for implementation and all those kind of things.
Interesting.
But my nature of work will still remain physical, because the deployment has
We
to be
understand, sir.
physical. Yeah.
We understand. I think it
Yeah.
was more about monitoring, evaluation,
That's
ensuring
correct.
that there is no discontinuity in the process, right?
That's correct.
Payal, I'm going to come to you, right?
Just
before
1 minute. I just want
Yes.
to add one more thing for everybody's
Please.
interest. That when we are talking of digital transformation, we have to be careful of the hacking also. There's a lot of
Correct.
hackers outside and doing all kind of, especially when people are collecting money, like Mr. Anubhav was saying, that their money collection is all online.
Right.
So they have to be little careful. They have to put the processes very airtight. Otherwise,
that's a very, very important point, which I would want to cover independently, right, as through the course of conversation. I'll just come to that, and I think
Sure.
this is a very important point that you have.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to very quickly go to Payal for a very quick comment, right? Payal, you work with a lot of workforce on the ground, right? Auditing evaluation happens. What are your how have you how important is it to have a supportive workforce when it comes to say auditing, right? And when you're working on sustainability, how important is that? Because there is a large part of people at the bottom that are part of this entire process, right? How important is workforce alignment for digital transformation?
Yeah, it is indeed, because see, as of now, we are a very small company and just a couple of people mostly work on projects basis also. But yes, sometimes you need person on the ground. Let's say last year, we just had one situation like this. So there was a project going on and we had to do some reports. So we had to question somebody who was sitting at the office, right at the one particular, and it was all locked down. So only a supervisor or the other kind of staff who are, so they were there. So we had to connect with them, and he of course took us through the walkthrough happened through his WhatsApp, and
Right.
because he couldn't use any other application or any other software, so I
Right.
said, "ठीक है, आप WhatsApp से ही दिखा दो." I mean, so he gave
Sure.
us the good walkthrough, and we discussed, and that particular part of the work was over. But so all of them don't use Zoom. All of them cannot have. And certain things we have to compromise for later or do some assumptive, or certain things need to be cancelled, because if suppose a machine has to be assessed, we can't do it offline.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
so the engineer has to go there, so we have avoided those kind of work at this point. And
Right.
even the companies have not asked for it because they know nobody can travel or the factories are not open.
Right.
So usually we are focusing on consulting and advisory, because this can be 100%
I agree.
online.
I understand.
So-
I think there's a certain delivery risk as well, right? Tarun,
Yes.
Tajit, Tanjit, I'm going to come to you. I think there are 2-3 important points that have been highlighted in the conversation, right? One is, of course, the risk of the human resource which is there getting inflicted. That is, I think, a very, very huge risk, and I think organizations start to look at it very differently. That's number one. Number two, I think, which is a common constant, is that I think workforce alignment has happened largely, through WhatsApp, right? And I think it's been a more ad hoc play, given that people were familiar and people kind of just played that, as a natural, as a natural go-to, because there was a certain familiarity, right? But this is not how businesses are going to work in future, right? I mean, there is a definitive continuity risk when it comes to, say, such tools, right? It has to move into a more enterprise environment, right? Tell us a little more about that. I mean, there are tools that are there that organizations are now kind of accepting, implementing. How are you powering those tools, right? Tell us a little more about that to ensure that there is not discontinuity, or there is a continuity risk, when you put this, right, across their operations, which are, say, spread out across not just, say, 1 or 2 cities, but many other cities.
Right, Ashu. So there are 2 points to it. One is the part of ensuring the right set of services are running secure. So there is a lot of the point which is whether in terms of how we can secure our network today.
Right.
So let me just understand that try to make everyone understand that the first part is how you can ensure a cyber security posture, right?
Sure.
How you can complete. So this is more of a multi-level layered kind of a security. Everybody is either are using at home as well today. So if most of us are living in an apartment where you find that security gate, a guard at the main gate, or then at your flat, you maybe in front of your tower, then on the main gate you put a locker and everything else. That's a more of a multi-layered security which has been there.
Right.
So now the organization usually puts a firewall at their the gateway level, and that is not only the way to secure the system, because most of us are currently work from home, right? And the end devices primarily are laptops. So we really need to see the level of security we need to put it across in terms of the laptop level, or that's some the endpoint security or the email security, or a multi-level for the level layered security, how we can ensure that. To do so, there is a comprehensive bouquet of product which we offer into the market, which are best in class. So why the endpoint security or email security or software which firewall security has been required? Because we are always carrying a threat of maybe a fraud, maybe a harm into their reputation, or maybe an intellectual property, right? And this is something another area where we feel that most of our organization feel so. So those products can eradicate such challenges. That's one. Second is the part that if you talk about the continuity in terms of the new product line which we have. So today the scenario with most of us today is that when we see the market. So most of services, somebody takes it. So he says that what I really need to implement it, do it on my behalf rather than doing it themselves. So once we talk about it, how we can ensure that. So most of our digital repository which we have created today, maybe really wanted to move ahead in terms of Zoom or maybe Teams or maybe any other practical scenario to do so. So most of the time when we feel that how to create a background, I mean, I really don't know where is the caption where I can go ahead and create a different background at the Teams, or probably to do so. So I mean, that's more of an education part which has been there, that has to be front across, which has been there. So we are moving towards, the health decks in that scenario, because this is something, which can be done, by creating a health deck simple, or maybe, for creating a digital repository,
Right.
or maybe in the form of, just educating the guy, to make it, the tool very simple, very simple. So today, if you see that, most of we are carrying a kids and they are taking the classes. So they know that where is the camera, or where is the audio button, or which is, because that's the very simple tool which has been created.
Correct.
That's how the journey we are also moving ahead in terms of the market, where we are trying to ensure that there is a lot of simpler products which are in the form of plug and play are getting adopted by most of the organization. And that's how, as an organization, we are also ensuring that whatever product we sell it into the market henceforth has to be in the form of plug and play only. There is nothing, something where we see that there is a, something you read up more of a training or something that can be understood by any of a layman guy, or maybe, your 12th pass, the FOS can understand that.
Right.
So that kind of, the product has to be built, and we have seen that, and people, quickly picks up as well. Look at, maybe in the space of digital payment, where
Right.
if you see that, maybe, before the Notebandi, and people were, not really giving a thought about a digital payment.
Right.
Look at today in this, the pandemic, most of the payments
Right.
are getting through digital, the platform itself. That's a digital payment. So it's a simpler way, because the application has become very, simple. It can
Right.
be used by anybody else. So that's how, the movement is going to move ahead. And as an organization, we are looking towards it.
I kind of agree with your point, Ranjit. I think while there were certain applications that filled that void, right, when we needed it immediately, and I think the world wasn't really prepared. But I think going forward, and I think like Kanav also sort of highlighted, right, that we're going to live in a hybrid world, right. I think businesses will have to redefine that continuity, right, and in being and having a stable set of technology, ensuring that it's built on the right platforms, it has the right ecosystem around. I think it's going to be so much more important. And I kind of agree with what you're highlighting here. Kanav, I'm going to come to you. My next question is that, for you, for example, pandemic hit you in a certain way, right? Where Parrot innovations came to literally a standstill, right? And then that helps you move into relook at something, and what you did sort of took off in a beautiful way. There are more people that are now sort of watching you. This is something which is happening very well, right? My question is essentially related to this, right? Is that does the emergence of new technology create a new market or a new opportunity, right? And what happens is, and this is something that we've also seen up close and personal, is that when you're doing it in a certain thing, in a certain thing in an offline setting, right, or say predominantly offline setting, what happens is that you are essentially optimizing it for that particular situation, right? But as soon as you get into a play where you are starting to implement technology, you start to see a lot of other possibilities, saying that this is something that's applicable for this sector, this sector, this sector, right? It just gives you a very different zone of or a horizon of thinking, right? What are your thoughts about it, right? Does technology
Sure.
implementation give you that amplitude to go out and exposes
Absolutely.
you to different opportunities?
Sure. So I'll just take again the example of Cantel only. It started with coming on YouTube and getting accepted. But now what is happening is that because of the acceptance, I've got the confidence now to even start talking to publishers to create a comic book for children on this character.
Right.
So again, we are having these conversations digitally.
Right.
So a product which was, like I said, the journey is so fast that today
Right.
is seeing the acceptance, and seeing is believing. So it's
Right.
easy for me to just share a link of YouTube to a big publisher and say, hey, this works with kids. Why don't we create a book out of it? And they are actually considering it.
Right.
Then I said, hey, why can't we create an animation movie out of this? So I'm talking to someone in that aspect, and they have also, not written off the possibility of creating this character in an animation form, because it is very easy for me now digitally to show, hey, it's like if you have something and you cannot show, like earlier, like it's like Ashok sir was saying that his business model is something where he has to physically go and demonstrate, but yes, he's also used WhatsApp in a way to manage things. But for me over here, a digitally created product is now getting circulated to various forms, where I will have a publisher or maybe an animation company creating that product. So this is very beautifully set up, very nicely, because if
Right.
these things were not there, I would have not been able to show and prove that this works,
Correct.
So I guess for many companies who are going to diversify in businesses, they will pick up pieces from their own existing products and say,
Right.
hey, this was only offline, but I think so this can be sold partially online as well. You know, like Tanjeet was also talking about that they are creating plug and play devices for people to use it very efficiently. Trainings like as a module now, like I see many people coming into online training as well.
Right.
To diversify of existing products and using your existing portfolio to create new sub products digitally and offline will be the future where a lot of companies will see opportunities. Like in my case, it started just with a small toys, now reaching levels where at least I'm dreaming big. It might happen, it might not happen, I don't know, but at least I'm seeing that dream.
Interesting. I like that. I like that positivity. I like that enthusiasm. Kanav. Sachin, I'm going to move to you, right? And like you highlighted in your, in your earlier point, right? That technology. So transformation did not necessarily happen only on the front end, right? Which was discovery of the product, right? It was literally across the value chain, right? In manufacturing, in terms of procurement, and with coordination with the teams, deployment, so on and so forth, right? Do you agree with this point, right? That as soon as you start to implement these pieces of technology, I mean, as soon as you start to go through that, that transformational, say, a journey, right, or a business decision, let me put it this way, right? It just opens up a lot more opportunity for you because you have a lot more transparency in your systems. You're not necessarily optimizing for inefficiencies or tackling those inefficiencies that are there. But at the heart of it is efficiency, right? As soon as you implement that, right? Which just gives you so much more bandwidth to accept and implement a bunch of other things, right? Is that correct in the context of what you're doing? Is that right for the industry?
Yeah. Ashu, your point is very, very valid. And what has actually happened, tell you very, very frankly, and of course, all other panelists will actually agree.
Sure.
That when we were working from office,
Right.
and typically people were coming for 8 hours of job or 10 hours of job, and we were sitting at the office. I'll tell you very interestingly, our actual working would have been much lesser than really attending the office.
Right.
For 6 hours, 8 hours, because most of the time we were consumed in coffee also, some lunch breaks also, and some certain coffee breaks also, and smoke break also, and many other things, and typically meetings also. But now every meeting is pre-scheduled from what time it will start and what time it will end.
Right.
That is one. And the working hours have actually got extended.
Correct.
So though the amount of work is less, but the people are more working for more hours because they don't know when the work is going to come to them.
Right.
It's typically in our environment. I'm not talking about the environment which is already pre-tuned like a software company or this thing, but typically in a brick and mortar business, and the people, the team in our office has actually taken some time to really adopt to these changes.
Right.
Okay, there can be an order which can come at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, which you have to process and make it ready for the shipment by early morning. In typical scenario, otherwise they would have said, "Sir, ye kaam hum kal kar lenge." But now there is a need. So there is a little bit of awareness and awakening between the people that okay, they have to be available.
Right.
That is one thing. And of course, because of this availability of the time, our meetings and our decisions has been more, short and to the point. And because of this availability of the time, we are able to plan more new things. Suppose I'll share with you, like typically appliances or many other digital devices or anything, the majority of the product is coming from China in terms of import, or in fact, or even the components. So earlier we used to have 1 or 2 vendor meetings or supplier meetings or factory meetings, maximum 1 or 2. But today we can have 3 or 4 meetings without even going anywhere, or even having a this kind of a web call or a Zoom call with a vendor sitting at China, and it's so easy.
Right.
So we are actually able to do much more thinking, and we have got plenty of time available to plan new things for the future.
Right.
As Tanjeet said very correctly, that today everybody is thinking that how to develop more and more plug and play products so that there is no need of installations, there is no need of any technician or service engineers to go and really install the products and these kind of things. So
Interesting.
I totally agree with your point that all these things are happening in our environment, and many of our own team members who are not attuned to too much of digital are now getting attuned slowly and
Interesting.
slowly, and they're becoming this
I think
more
Sachin,
habitual.
while you say that, in my mind, I'm also sort of thinking that it's also brought in a lot of transparency in terms of, say, finance and accounting, right?
Yes.
I think you have a lot more visibility in terms of what's outstanding, what's happening to my books, and I think that just gives you a little more choice, flexibility in terms of aligning what you want to do, and I think really sort of empower. I think cash flows have become so much more transparent in the process, but I think that's a discussion for a different time. Tanjeet, I'm going to come to you, right? And while we discuss all of what we do, and you've been waiting very patiently, right, in the process. I think what businesses tend to not really kind of prioritize, and which is something that you also highlighted in your earlier point, is the risk of is the cyber risk, right, or the security risk. Let me put it this way, right, or cyber security risk. You've been at the forefront of it, right? And when you've been talking about a lot of solutions, you've been evangelizing the cause of ensuring that there are systems that are built keeping in mind the security aspects, right? So that there is no disruption that happens tomorrow for whatever reason, right? It could be a hacking reason, could be lapse in some other certain process, whatever, right? Tell us a little more about that, right? How is it that you are trying to evangelize this cause across businesses, which are adopting to, or which are forced to adopt a digital transformation? Tell us a little more about that.
So, right, Ashu, I mean, when we talk about, since we all agree, any of us, the panelist has, agreed to the point that the work from home, or probably, the hybrid model is going to continue at least for a year or so, till the time we don't get both of our jabs, right? So that's, the something, till the time it doesn't happen, the most of the organization won't allow the organization to continue with, the model of, work from office.
Right.
So to continue this business, obviously the hybrid model of services would continue as well. Maybe that is, the in-premise deployment, or to the part of work from home. So the smart VPN, where that's a more of a private network which we talk about, where you can do a secured communication among your employees, right? So that's the area where we have come up with a lot of solutions to it. So any of your employee, maybe on mobile device or probably towards your laptop or anywhere else, can do a secured communication within the organization, right? To enable them, obviously, as I highlighted, that the cybersecurity is a piece where we have worked a lot, and we have already done our tie-up with a lot of world-class service provider, maybe in the form of endpoint, email, or multi-factor security, and the world-class provider are Trend Micro, Cisco, and Palo Alto. So, but to ensure that the organization really need to strategize their cybersecurity part as well, and probably first part would be they need to really create a secured system. That is a very critical piece. And once you create a secure secured system, doesn't mean that it's done. It's more of the enhancement of the skill set of your employees as well, because you need to empower them with the right set of knowledge, how to use and co-create a partnership with them. Why is it important to create a such secure system? Why is it important to ensure we keep a secured communication? And if they don't do that, what are the problems can occur to the organization as well. So that is something a really critical part. Third is the part that you really need to taking care of the data as well. Data is the key today in the business, and you need to start creating a backup of your data as well. Because tomorrow, if today in the organization, what is the most critical piece? You ask any of the CTO or IT person, he says, the boss, data is my most critical piece.
Correct.
So I'm sure that we have a kids at home who also keeps a data of their TikTok videos as well. So I'm sure that the organizations are also very serious about it, and by the adoption of cloud services, I'm sure this can be done very easily, and that is something not a very capex oriented part as well, because this is something can be done on a pay-per-use model, or probably on an OPEX model as well. And I really need the organization really need to continue spending money into their IT infrastructure as well. So this is something, they can do a lot of damage control for them. And, probably this is something they really need to don't shy away from them. So investment is something a really critical piece. So look at out, when you talk about any of us, maybe Anubhav shared his experience that, they are enabling, they are empowering, and, they are putting a lot of efforts towards that people start, buying, online, or probably start making money, making payments online itself. Maybe in the case of, Kanav as well. I mean, he talks about that, the kind of journey he has towards, the where he's maybe e-learning part, or maybe probably enabling the kids as well, how they can ensure they can create a movie as well. So again, there is a lot of the security part has to be taken care of. So I'm sure he's already spending a lot of money on the part of the infrastructure as well. That is already, I'm sure Mr. Tucker, who's the veteran in the industry, has already shared his experience on the part of that was, in case we really, that's a more of the technology, maybe surveillance, or maybe the part of any of the deployment he's talking about on the telephony. I'm sure all of them covers up on the part of that companies are spending on the IT infrastructure as well, and they are enabling them.
Right.
So this is how I really feel that the organization should continue in terms of IT infrastructure investment.
No, I think Tanjeet, that is so much more relevant, right? And when you say this, and I kind of 100% agree with what you're saying. I think this entire piece needs to be prioritized, right? More than anything, right? I think this is your insurance that you're buying for your business. I think going forward is how I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are towards the last leg of our conversation today. I'm going to jump onto my last question, and I'll have each one of you give me a quick perspective, so that we are in the time limits that have been given out to us. How do you see your organization from a digital transformation standpoint? What are some of the key changes that you're going to do in your organization next 6 to 8 months, right? How do you see that journey? Sachin, will come to you first. Payal, I'm going to come to you second, and I'm going to go on to the other people.
So very quickly, Ashu, in coming 6 to 8 months, of course, we will be sticking to more on the work from home as a method to do the business. And of course, we are thinking of how to business more and more, non-contact based, even if our warehouses and other things. And we are seriously considering the products and solutions which can make our business more and more, manpower free. But doesn't mean that we are not looking for people, but how they can work without, really being physically present there. And with the minimum workforce requirement, so that there is no possibility of transmission, because the coming times, next 6 to 8 months, we all know are going to be very, very critical for the time, because we have just come out of the second phase of the COVID. So that's why for the next 6 to months, our message in our own company is to that, okay, till December 2021, we have to work in this way, and we are already in the process of adopting some of the new products and technologies, so that we can be more mature towards the digital transformation of the business.
Interesting.
Though we are into the brick and mortar, the products has to physically go and come and go to the consumer place. But how we can work more automation based this thing. So we are trying to put more chatbots, more AI based products, so that consumer can interact with us at any point of time. And because today, suppose if I am not available or at a particular period of time, so maybe consumer has to be serviced at one point of time. So just especially on a service part or the marketing part, because we are not able to visit our customers. So that's how we are trying to implement certain solutions for marketing as well as for sales.
I think Sachin, I think there's so much that I want to talk to you about, right? And possibly we'll cover that in a separate session.
I
but I'm gonna jump onto Payal. Payal, what's the road ahead, right? You're in a very, very interesting area. There's a lot of work that you're doing, and I think the world is getting responsible. I think you should be happy soul, right? I think industries are getting more sensible in terms of sustainability, right, and best practices implementation, right? What is the road ahead for your business, right? For Carbon Fixers, how do you see technology adoption by you as a business and across your clients? How are you going to advocate for that?
Yeah, technology is 100%. I think, let's say, blessing in disguise. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, because more and more companies, people, even when we consult, of course, last couple of years, we started focusing more on consulting and advisory. So that can be done online. Okay. You don't have to travel. And of course, now the markets have expanded. So you're not
Sure.
limited to just India. You can actually consult anybody, any country, any company,
Right.
anywhere. And there
Right.
are platforms available which we are using, you
Right.
know. So these like expert networks and other ways which are there. So we consult, and there are many platforms where the payments are also seamless.
Right.
Like Tipalti, if you've heard of Payoneer and Tipalti,
Correct.
there's a use case. So these things are happening. So of course, it will remain online for us for most of the work,
Right.
unless there is some physical audits require or some other transformation on the business process we have to do from sustainability.
Right.
That we have to see, and people have obviously postponed it for later.
Right.
Let's discuss after COVID, because of
Sure.
course nobody can travel.
Correct.
But yes, things looks positive, and of course
But
this year is
Payal,
slow, but next year on.
Payal, how do we see you evangelize transformation across your clients? How do we see that happening?
Transformation across.
Your clients, right? People that you're auditing. How do you see? How do we see you evangelizing that?
Oh yes, I mean they agree to most of the points we say, and of course they have also started, because sustainability you cannot achieve without technology.
Right.
Okay, so whether it's any part of the business process or your team or your people, or so technology plays a key role. So we
Okay.
still need a lot of work to be done in this area. We still need a lot of innovation. We still need a lot of product changes, a lot of product innovations, material innovations, software also. Even ERP has to be upgraded to have the GHG based calculations, carbon footprint, sustainability reporting.
Right.
The reporting formats have changed. So even
I
the
think
technology.
I see you and Tanjeer collaborating and working on a bunch of things towards the end of this entire bit, right? While I'm going to jump on to the other person. Thank you so much for your perspective, Mr. Tucker. What's the road ahead for your business? What are some of the key changes that we see you implement in your business?
Well, this is for sure that we cannot live without technology or digital transformation.
Right.
But we have to do a balance in with the hybrid kind of
Sure.
situation.
Sure.
Because honestly, sitting in front of the screen for 9 hours, 10 hours a day is also a pain. So you have to really balance it out with in a hybrid mode. Like Payal said, that more and more softwares are going to be evolved.
Right.
ERP has to be simpler, because not every MSME can afford to have an ERP.
Correct.
So ERP has to be simpler. More solutions have to come out through YouTube or through Facebook or
Right.
through WhatsApp,
Right.
which are easier for people to understand. Because in India, let's see, we have a lot of people who are not educated to that level.
Right.
So we have to virtually stick to the technology, because without that we cannot survive, and without we cannot do our business. And we have to stick to the hybrid model also. So it's a balance. And
Very
obviously,
interesting.
digital transformation will require some technology, some deployment of money, which is also, one has to see his own pockets and see how much money he can deploy for these kind of things. So it is a necessary evil now.
I think, Mr. Thakkar, I think the cost of technology is, reducing, right? So I don't think that should be a necessary worry. And I think, there's a huge change which is happening when it comes to the financing ecosystem, right? I think, but that's a discussion for a different time.
Ashu, but I disagree with you on that the cost of technology has reduced. Actually, the cost of technology has gone up because new evolutions have come up.
Sure.
Like, just for a small example, I'll take 1 minute. Now we see, because of COVID, the temperature and the scan and everything has been done through a camera. So the cost of that equipment has really gone up. Now, if people
I think, Mr. Thakkar, I think that's a discussion for a different time.
Yeah.
As
Sure.
we grow, these are things that will achieve economies of scale. Eventually, the prices
Correct.
will fall.
Absolutely.
I think it's just the disruption in logistics and availability right now, I think, which is really sort of driving the price up. So it's a momentary trend. It's not something which is going to stay on for a
Obviously,
long time.
volumes will drive the business.
Absolutely.
Volumes will,
Absolutely. And I think these are going to become practices, right? I think it's
Absolutely.
going to be about the adopters in the ecosystem, right? what's the road ahead? I think there are some very interesting things that you've highlighted, right? There's a lot of stuff which is happening at your end, right? What's next 6 months like, right? When it comes to digital transformation, do we see a lot of what you're doing as an individual getting institutionalized with more people in it? Tech layers coming in. Do we see all of that happening next 6 months?
Yeah, I think so. Mostly this remote work culture will continue, and
Sure.
I think so that will continue. What I feel is regional and local collaboration will become more important for this hybrid model to become successful. So
Sure.
if I foresee partners who are in regions able to manage my business offline, and so that we don't travel and we
Right.
continue this hybrid model. So I guess those partnerships identifying are very important now, especially for startups like us, who already are struggling because of this COVID scenario. So I guess diversification, collaboration, regional acceptance, and finding partners who can represent you locally and you don't need to travel, and then you collaborate remotely.
Right.
Something I see the future of businesses, and especially for us, like in our businesses, and we have to think very quickly. Like I'll take a minute more. In the next 3 months, I have to decide how is this attendance mechanism going to work for me or not, or I have to totally disrupt it and build something totally new, because there are a lot of cost involved. Like Ashok sir also said, technology is expensive. If you want to get into facial recognition also with attendance, that is also going to be very expensive. And
Right.
end consumer today, a parent, I don't know whether they will be able to pay also for this technology. There's a lot of questions in my mind, which will get answered once this COVID disappears. And we also know very honestly and frankly, it's not going to disappear overnight. This is going to be part of our lives. It's going to have this ups and downs, like the stock market. Sometimes going to go up, sometimes going to come down, but it's going to stay. Because till the time we don't have a robust vaccine available, which says, okay, that even if anything happens now, you are protected. So that will take time, because right now the vaccine has come very quickly. It normally takes 5 to 10 years or 15 years for a robust vaccine to come out in the market. So there are a lot of factors around. So it's going to be very interesting, exciting, and tense also, especially for me. I have to take many critical decisions. So I hope things for all of us work out quickly. But key point is collaboration and remote working, and identifying partners in local areas for businesses to run efficiently.
Lovely. Thank you, Kanav. Anubhav, I'll come to you. What's the next 6-8 months like?
Since we've been working with the supply chain and the healthcare business,
Right.
our focus is going to be quite different. We might be looking out for the digitalization, which might be integrating our physical processes with the digital data to
Right.
optimize and solve our problems. It might be involving areas such as predictive analysis for forecasting, order fulfillment with intelligent processes, digitalization of operational processes, remote controlling, and implementing both of them together to manage the end processes in a much better way. Some other benefits which might be looking out for what might be having a constant access to the real-time data analytic platform and joining all the data at one place.
Right.
So taking the whole entire supply chain process to a next level, where we might be gaining more visibility and traceability of the entire function that we are here to cater out.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time out. It was a fantastic discussion. I think, having all of you with us, bringing in a very different and a diverse perspective is so much more important. Sachin, I think what you highlighted about, your industry as a whole, there is so much of depth to that, right? And there are certain things that, we would definitely want to continue beyond this conversation. Payal, I think the audit landscape is going to change completely, like you highlighted. And I think the bigger that I see from this entire conversation is a role for you to evangelize technology adoption across the manufacturing sector, which is kind of, slow when it comes to adoption of newer ways of doing things, right? Because they've been designed in a certain way, right? And this change cannot happen overnight. Mr. Thakkar, I think it was lovely to hear your views, with how you put it across, right? That it's going to be a hybrid structure. We have to, optimize in a certain way. Robotics and a bunch of other things are going to become very, very important when it comes to delivery on last mile, right? And I think efficiency has to sort of be thought through when it comes to that. Kind of, I think some very interesting points that you highlight, right? The entire integrated ecosystem, transparency, right? For say, buyers, consumers, all of that is going to be very, very important. And I think on top of that foundation, you're going to get built new models, right? Of consumption. That could be of digital consumption, that could be of audio consumption, that could be of, say, future other possibilities that could emerge out of that particular one, piece getting right. And above, like you highlighted, right, supply chain is going to become very, very important in the entire scheme of things. And there is very little choice that the organizations are going to have in terms of wanting choice of adopting or not adopting, right? I think digital transformation is clearly the way forward. I think, ladies and gentlemen, with that, thank you very much. I'll have Tanjeet to come in and do a word of thanks. Tanjeet, please.
Thanks, Ashu. Would like to thank all the panelists and members for giving a insightful thought about it. What you think about how the market is shaping in, and what are your thoughts in terms of if you need to sustain or continue to in businesses required. So there is a lot of inside information which we have got today. Trust us, I mean, as an organization, we are also continuing to diversify ourselves in terms of the product line, what SME looks forward for. Whatever, Payal, Mr. Anubhav, Mr. Kanav, Mr. Thakkar, Mr. Goel, whatever the points you have raised in terms of, your expectation in terms of, from the, companies, maybe the partnership, maybe the diversification, or how we can come into the picture in terms of, eradicating your problems as well. So we are towards that direction, and you can connect us for any kind of the more information you need it, and in terms of your business continuity, right? Thanks, Ashu. Thanks you, all the panelist members once again, and wishing you all a very safe and great year ahead. And I'm sure this period would not continue for so long, and we surely can catch up. Maybe in some time, maybe for a cup of tea as well. Right? Thanks, Ashu.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a safe time. Bye.
Possible to have numbers of everybody?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks.